So I want to take say a few words about the Tectonic speaker system and sort of my first impressions hearing these things. My friend Roy Wooten brought me down to SIR about 2 years ago, and he was like, man, I want you to hear this new technology. It's really, really special. So I initially thought, from the way they were described to me, that they were ribbon speakers, which I thought, okay, I've heard ribbon speakers, they're great, but not at all. We're talking about a whole new, different type of technology here. The first thing that struck me about the Tectonic speakers was the imaging, actually, where if say a acoustic guitar was panned over here, it felt like a high-end set of studio monitors to me. You know, the coverage, the frequency coverage was fantastic. And the second thing that struck me, which actually blew my mind really, is there was a nice hard brick wall in SIR. And I walked up to the brick wall and I put my ear right up against it, where normally you would hear all kinds of wash coming off the wall, and I heard nothing. So to me, that was a really light bulb moment, where they actually claim that they help to correct the acoustics in certain venues. The bounces off the walls are sort of corrected by the way that the panels radiate to cancel out some of these bounces. So, amazing technology. I've been a recording engineer now professionally for about 20 years. I've heard all the speakers out there, and these are right up there with studio monitor quality, but they're for live. So I really want to take a moment to thank the crew, all the crew at Tectonic, extremely supportive people, innovative company, and the thing that it really strikes me about them as a company, as a unit, as a team, is I approached them immediately and said, I'd like to use your product, you know, when can we have a crack at it? And immediately they were like, yeah, let's do it. It's going to take us maybe a year. So 6 months later, I call Dave Firestone and I say, hey, Roy and I have a gig at Oz in Nashville. We're going to be playing with Laurie Anderson, you know, opposite Laurie Anderson. He said immediately, yeah, let's do it. So my next thing was, well, I'd like to do it in quad. He said, sure, let's do it. So here we bring this quad system down to the Oz venue, which is beautiful, but not acoustically perfect. And I'll say that in that venue, during the performances, you would never have guessed that we were anywhere shy of a concert hall. With the quad system doing the reverb in the back, it was really a magical thing. So really have to say thank you guys, excellent speakers, keep up the good work, and this is the only the beginning of our professional relationship. Thanks again, Tectonic. So I'd like to have a few more words on Tectonic. Really can't thank these guys enough. They really are very supportive in the field of music. Maybe I can demonstrate how great these speakers are by telling you a little bit about what I did at Oz. We actually placed 2 PL12s behind the orchestra, flown, and then I used all types of microphones, condenser microphones, ribbon microphones, you name it, on the orchestra. I used Royer Ribbon 122Vs, I used Shep CMC6s with Mark 22 capsules. I was actually putting these in the PA system. And we had great success. Very little feedback, nothing that I couldn't address. And I will say, if I did get in the pattern of the ribbon driver of the Tectonic, I did experience feedback. But if I was in the right place, it was absolutely seamless to use with an orchestra, where normally you would use this with a traditional set of speakers and you would have feedback immediately, and you would never even be able to dream of doing it, even with the speakers in front of the orchestra. So what Roy and I are really planning to explore more and more through moving the speakers even more the next time, keeping them behind the orchestra so they're actually coming at you and delivering the sound to you as if they are a part of the orchestra, which is the whole point of what we want to go with. So we're going to continue to experiment what microphones really work well in front of them and which ones really don't, and there will be more coming soon with our developments on complete orchestral amplification. I think Tectonic speakers work really well in a symphonic environment due to their construction and going away from the piston-driven speaker technology. So the fact that a DML is completely different really opens up new areas for us to actually amplify classical instruments in a very natural way without sort of running them through a filter, if you will, and then just messing the sound up. It's sort of parallel but comparable. When you mic up a violin, you don't put the microphone right on it. You need air, and you need a little bit of time for the waves to develop and reach the audience. So really the reason why classical instruments sound so great when you're sitting in the hall is that part of the way they were designed were to develop the waves to the listener. So what the violinist hears, as example, is much grainier and harder edged than what you would hear out in the audience. Or a piano, just much more defined at the source. So the way their technology works with the exciter behind the panel, I think lends itself really well to the classical environment, and I really look forward to see where they go and how we can incorporate modern music sounds with symphonic sounds and sort of blend things together in a new way that we haven't thought was possible before now.